What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about One Piece chapter 1167. I am scripting this video as I read through the chapter so you guys can get my initial reaction to the chapter and initial thoughts. And this week I've managed to duck most spoilers except for one specific panel. I did manage to scroll past it immediately though, so I have no context for it. I've just seen the specific image, so I'm still excited to get into the chapter with basically no spoilers. One more thing before we get into the chapter, I want to give a shout out to this commentator from the last video. He gave a lot of great responses to my takes on Garp about how despite Garp's intentions, him trying to protect people by taking away their freedom is wrong. And I think that makes a lot of sense since the entire point of One Piece is being free, so I just wanted to give a shout out to this commentator. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the chapter. The chapter is titled Ida's Son. Immediately I'm assuming Harald's going to be the focal point of this one since, he's Ida's son. The cover art request is pretty wholesome. It's about a cat stealing a book and Gen and Nojiko not mad. This is obviously an homage to Nami since she used to steal books and her epithet is the cat burglar, so it's honestly a pretty nice cover art request. Officially starting off the chapter, we see that Harald has essentially become a world government dog and become the boogeyman for pirates in the Grand Line. Honestly, this is just sad to see. I understand Harald's end goal with all this, but working for the people that put your closest friend in the ground and sinking countless ships without question when you know that not all pirates are scum, it's just not a good look. I do get that Harald doesn't know about Emu, so he doesn't fully grasp the situation that he's put himself in, but regardless of that, I don't understand how Harald thinks working for the people that slammed out his best friend is a solution. Harald also is aware of the corruption in the world government, and regardless of if they're being good people in the government or not, you should know that this isn't a good idea. I don't know, man. Harald just seems like he's making really dumb decisions to me. Okay, so next we basically just get Oda letting us know about the placement of events on the timeline, like Big Mom, Kaido, Whitebeard, and Shiki's rise to prominence, as well as Roger finding the One Piece, the Great Pirate Era starting, and then we learn what Harald was doing during all of this. Before we get into what Harald was doing, I'm surprised Oda didn't give Shiki any more focus. Like, we know he was a big name because of things like Chapter 0 and all the promo material surrounding the Strong World movie, and in the Ace novel they even said that before the Emperors are running the sea, it was Roger, Shiki, and Whitebeard's era, even though Big Mom was still a big name back then. Then again, I guess all these updates on the history of One Piece are just extra stuff that we're getting as a treat from Oda since Harald and Elbaf are meant to be the main focus of this flashback. We turn the page and we see Harald get a tattoo called the Shallow Sea Mark, and this confirms all the theories that Shanks let his arm get bit off to remove the mark that we saw at the start of the flashback. I know back then people were calling this thing the Mark of the Abyss, which is a cool name, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a clue where people got that name from, and here we're finally getting the name of the mark revealed to us. Now there's a lot of interesting things to unpack regarding this mark. Like we're told there's 3 levels to the mark, and the wording after this is slightly confusing. After explaining the top 2 levels, it says that only 13 people are permitted to have that privilege. So it's saying that the top 2 levels combined are 13, or that the top level alone is 13. Right now what I'm thinking is that the top level is the 5 elders, and the rest of the Guards Knights comprise the rest of the 13, and those are the second level. And then below those 13 are third level, which are people like Harald, presumably Shanks, and I think Gumko as well, because I believe Gumko is also called God Steel at some point, so she might also be on the lowest level. We see Harald asking if Elbaf will become a member nation if he becomes a God's Knight, and man, it couldn't be more obvious that he's getting played. But I guess it's just Oda using dramatic irony since clearly we all know what's going on, but Harald doesn't. And we turn the page and we see Saint Fraudulent bumbling in all his glory, acting like he's people. We also see a teenage Shamrock here, and man, I hope Shamrock is nothing like his father, because if he inherited that fraudulence, then I'm genuinely expecting to either get one shot or off screen next time we see him. We see Harald and Neptune having discussions about Loki and the future Shirahoshi, and Oda might have just dropped a bombshell. So you know that Loki was talking to someone he called Mosa on the transponder snail, and right here Harald calls Neptune's future daughter Mosa. Is it possible that Shirahoshi is the Mosa on the transponder snail? Like, if you really think about it, right? Loki and Shirahoshi were both locked up for years. They're both royalty. They're both involved in prophecies involving Luffy. They both inherited world-changing powers that will definitely play a part in the final war. Said powers being Shirahoshi being an ancient weapon and Loki eating the special devil fruit. And the cherry on top is their parents wanted them to be married. So it might genuinely be possible. I do remember that when we heard Loki was talking to someone, people did make this connection because Roger called Shirahoshi Harry before he met her, well, because it was before she was born. But most people just wrote it off. And also after this, I'm convinced that this is the case, until it's proven otherwise. We get a flashback to Fisher Tiger and how he freed the slaves, and bro, it's revealed Shanks is the one that helped him. And this makes so much more sense. Like, I reread the Fisher Tiger flashback recently, because I'm currently working on another video that needed it, and bro, Fisher Tiger and all of his pirates besides Jinbei would low-key bombs. Like, Fisher Tiger, go reread it. He literally dies to nameless foreign marines while he was at full HP, so I don't have a clue how he managed to free all the slaves, or at least I didn't. until now, because like Shanks helping him and like to get into the armory, and that's what like caused the commotion to alarm the free the slaves. That makes so much more sense. Because I do not believe for a second that dude that died to no name for the Marines that pre-time skip straw hats were taking out. I do not believe for a second he's the one that freed all these slaves. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense that him getting helped by current top one in the verse, yes, over Frothawk. It makes sense now that that is how he did it. We end up seeing a few familiar faces getting freed during this, like Boa and his sisters, and bro, Oda really got to start doing a better job at making Boa look different to Robin, because at a glance, I genuinely thought Robin was the one in chains. Until I turned my brain on and use context clues anyway. Also, I swear we've seen the scene of Boa and his sisters running before, and I swear they look younger in, like, the first time we saw it. I mean, this is probably just Oda updating their designs, I guess, to what they should look like for their age at the time. Since during this flashback, he's clearly putting a bunch of events like concretely on a timeline, so I guess he's just updating what characters' designs are supposed to look like. We see Bumbling introduce Shanks to Harald, and Shanks already has his eye scar from Blackbeard, which is interesting. Considering the fact that it's still bandaged, this must mean that their clash was quite recent. We also see Shanks putting up an act in order to blend in, and in the final panel of the page, you literally see how it pains him to say those words. Backtracking a little bit. At the very start of the page, we have interesting juxtaposition with the Hype Tool Knights talking about finding the culprit that helped Fisher Tiger. And immediately as they say that, Bumbling goes, his name is Shanks. So if you needed any more confirmation that the person who helped Fisher Tiger was Shanks, here you go. Okay, now we cut to the panel I got spoiled on. Shanks is lying through his teeth talking about some I want to find the traitor and my whole life was wasted and I hated everything down there. And dog, how is nobody seeing through this? I swear observation haki can detect lies. Like either Shanks is already using his observation haki killing technique, or all the bum knights might genuinely just not have haki. Well, either that, or they're just being incompetent. Again. We do also get an age confirmation for Shanks and Shamrock here. They're both 24, which also sets this convo, I think, 23 years after the God Valley incident, putting this at another slot in the timeline. Somehow Harald is the only person who is sussing Shanks out, and this is how I know the inadequate knights are frauds, because Harald has been lied to for like a decade at this point with zero suspicion, and one interaction with Shanks had him questioning things. So if the substandard knights can't tell, there's genuinely no hope for them. We cut to Alpaf and... yeah, he was cooked. I'll give her props, she lasted long for a One Piece mom in a flashback, but this outcome was inevitable. Especially since we haven't seen her in modern day. The girl by her bedside is, I'm pretty sure, the modern day barkeep of the bar that we see when we see Shanks drinking there, so clearly Ida is gonna pass the bar to her before she passes. Man, I feel bad for Ida. She genuinely did nothing wrong and is such a nice person, and despite not wanting it, she deserved to be allowed to marry and live with Harald. And now she's dying of plot disease. It's a super unfortunate end. But hey, gotta give Harald that character development somehow. We see Loki show up telling him to cook some meat he brought for Ida. And I don't know about y'all, but to me it seems like Loki genuinely cares about her, but Loki is just super rough around the edges because of his own situation with his mother, and also how the person he looked up to died, so he's genuinely trying to distance himself from another person he loves so he doesn't get hurt. Obviously everyone else just sees Loki as a troublemaker, but it looks like Ida sees right through it and she says it makes her glad. It's unfortunate that Loki is gonna have to lose yet another person close to him though. Bro, and on the final page we see those clowns say that they poisoned Ida and she's gonna die soon. Dog, what is wrong with the entire family? Bro, I hope Loki burns this entire village to the ground so that there aren't even bodies left to bury, because clearly these people cannot be helped. It gets revealed I was right about Loki's feelings and that Ida sees him as a son as well, which is why the chapter is titled Ida's Son, and man, I was prepared for her to die for Harridan's sake, but honestly this twist on the last page was low-key a gut punch. Like, have y'all ever hated fictional characters so much you want to punch them through the screen but you can't because they're fictional? That's where I'm at right now, with these money-grubbing clowns. No wonder Loki wants to destroy it all. Look what he grew up having to be subjected to. And you know damn well the other Elbaf citizens are gonna ridicule him for this too. Man, say what you want about Oda, he definitely knows how to get you emotionally invested in a story. But that's gonna be it for the chapter review. Be sure to leave your thoughts on anything I said, as well as the chapter itself, in the comment below. As always, I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, or night, whenever you're watching this, and I hope to see you all next time.